Welcome to European Railway, the video magazine for the continental enthusiast. Southern Belgium has a number of large cities that attract heavy industry, especially steelmaking. As a result, the rail routes are particularly busy, carrying great volumes of freight traffic and a wealth of passenger services. In this section we focus on the main line linking Namur and Charleroi, which runs along the scenic River Sambre valley. We begin close to the town of Gemep-sur-Sambre, just to the west of the station at Moustiers. Locomotives 2362 and 2608 double-head this westbound freight on Friday 3rd June 2005. There is a local hourly service stopping at all stations along the route. These trains run between Tamines and Flamel-Haut and are usually formed of these two-car units from the AM 62 to 65 series. Services to and from Essen in northern Belgium to Namur and Sambre run every hour and are mainly formed using these AM 75 to 77 series units. This pair are about to cross the River Sambre just to the west of Franières. The superb station building at Franières is seen as units 480 and 456 head west with one of the hourly intercity services to Lille. We move east again now to the small town of Fleuref. On 15th October 2004, AM96 Intercity Unit 482 heads the 1031 from Lille to Herstal. For some reason, this track machine seems to have excited the local canine population. A number of Belgium's two-car units are receiving refurbishment, together with a new revised colour scheme. This is the 1234 for Namur. The new Class 7700 diesels also operate on the line. Here number 7748 bounces into view with a westbound freight. The Class 26 electrics are now regarded as being on the endangered list, and an increasing amount of withdrawals are expected. Here 2606 ambles east. We move a few kilometres to the east and to the small town of Flowin. The time is shortly after 6 AM on 3rd June 2005 as Units 844 and 818 head east. The station is on the western end of Ronay Yard. A convenient overbridge offers photographic opportunities for trains entering or leaving the complex. Here 2348 and 2346 depart for Charleroi. At the eastern end is Ronay Depot. A good view of withdrawn locomotives can be had from the adjacent road. Also included is quadruple voltage electric number 1801. There is very little freight activity entering the yard, and based on what we saw, we would guess that there is no more than a single movement each hour. Here 8226 shunts the yard at around 7:30 in the morning. You can never tell what might turn up. This is French electric number 36016 on an eastbound steel coils. This is the station itself, a fairly basic facility. Thalys TGV set number 4342 is seen forming the 0640 from Liège to Paris Nord. Finally, on 15th October 2004, electric locos 2303 and 2312 head for Charleroi shortly after leaving Ronay Yard. Dutch private freight operator ACTS is probably best known for its use of British Class 58 diesel locomotives. We take a look at their current operations. Here we see number 1252, one of 4 such locomotives bought by ACTS from Dutch Railways near Woerden. Class 58 number 5811 is seen on the northern approaches to Amersfoort on 3rd June 2005, whilst heading the 0519 container train from Maasvlakte to Veendam. There are now 3 Class 58s working in Holland for ACTS on hire from UK's English, Welsh and Scottish Railway. Our final scene is taken at Tynalo, just north of Wassen, as electric number 1255 pilots ex-Belgian diesel number 6705 on a service for Veendam. The former Eastern Bloc countries are now a major attraction for enthusiasts keen to sample Soviet-style locomotives and trains in action. We paid a brief visit to Vilnius station in issue 11 of European Railway. This time we look at activity around the city and a little further afield during June 2004. We begin with the TEP 60 diesel departing Vilnius with the previous night's 1916 service from Moscow. The train leaves for Kaliningrad at 10:29 in the morning and reaches its destination at 17:16, a journey of 22 hours. Network South East livery seems to have made its way east as M621118 arrives with the 2130 overnight train from Warsaw. This diagram has been reduced to just twice per week. This is Vilnius Locomotive Depot, as this TEP 60 is in the company of various M62 diesels. This is the fate of ex-East German M62 number 120036, cut up for scrap. It is now believed there is only one Deutsche Reichsbahn Class 120 left in Lithuania now. There is a mixture of local trains to be seen on the line to the west of the city, some formed of loco and coaches, others are worked by electric multiple units such as this on a train from Kaunas. Belarusian 2 TEP-10 locos used to work heavy freight to a yard at Lentvaras, just to the west of Vilnius. This diagram has now gone over to Lithuanian traction as a result of a new yard being built on the border with Belarus. Before the change, this one is seen on a return working to Belarus. Class 2 M62 diesels operate much of the heavy freight in the country, principally to and from the port of Klaipėda. This one is seen at Žažlė. As a result of upgrading work, the overhead was switched off. This meant that any electric traction on the route was hauled by freight locomotives. Here a TEM2 powers a working into Žažlė. Freight trains to Klaipėda run anything up to 6 to 8 per hour and average between 50 and 60 wagons. This one is pictured at Lajdanė. Our final scene is at Radviliskis, as the CHME-3 is seen on a trip freight between the two main marshalling yards. The main lines that run north to south over the Alps in Switzerland are arguably some of the most photographed in Europe. In this section we visit the St Gotthard route and have a look at the trains and variety of traction to be seen. Wassen station is a well-known location. Here 11121 passes with the 1804 from Basel to Chiasso. Passenger trains operate every 30 minutes in each direction, which allows freight trains to operate in between without affecting the passenger services. Reliveried RE66 number 620069 follows with a southbound cement. All of our scenes here were taken on the evening of 13th June 2005 as darkness fell. Freight traffic was fairly busy and produced some remarkable sights such as this. Such is the level of traffic on this line that you can barely have time to put the camera down. Here is 11641 and 11176 heading the other way. This loco combination is the norm on this line. A 20-minute wait between trains then occurred before RE44 number 11342, piloting RE66 number 11679, made its way north. The station lights provide the only illumination as another RE44 ambles through with the 1904 service from Basel to Chiasso. The train is passed by an Italian Railways Cisalpino high-speed train forming a Firenze to Zurich service. The following morning, the camera crew were greeted by some typical Swiss mountain weather. As the rain pours, a pair of RE44s in the shape of 11264 and 11121 head Euronight train number 304 from Rome to Zurich. Wassen is of course famous for its loops as the line climbs up the steep mountain pass. Here 460063 is seen on 29th April 2004 heading north with the train from Locarno. There are ever-increasing amounts of freight using the route. Here we see 11388 and 11605 coasting down grade with a long intermodal working. In the opposite direction, 11224 is working one of the hourly stopping services between Basel and Chiasso. A few kilometres to the south of Wassen lies Gotthard. 11290 and 11635 head down grade, whilst 11182 and 11604 pass in the opposite direction. 4 minutes later, and 460032 follows with the 1710 from Basel to Chiasso. The railways of the Czech Republic are extremely popular with enthusiasts from all around Europe due to the rich mixture of traditional diesel and electric locomotives at work. Creeping modernisation will bring an end to some of the sights and sounds currently experienced. In this section we sample activity on the lines radiating out of České Budějovice. We begin at Chichenice, a small junction town around 30 kilometres to the north. The time is 9:30 in the evening, and Class 242 electric number 242253 arrives with the coal train from Cheb. After a crew change, 242201 is seen leaving for the north. A few minutes later, and another Class 242 electric arrives from the north. This line is mainly worked by these locomotives, which date from 1975. This is 242250. In the opposite direction, Class 854 railcar number 008 is working the 0445 from Prakatitsi to Protivin. The time is 05:53 hours. Two kilometres north of České Budějovice, on the line to Vesely nad Lužnicí, is 363132 heading the 0702 to Prague. In the opposite direction is Skoda-built 240260 with the 0608 from Tabor. We now move south of the town and onto the main line to Austria. Here 240066 arrives at Vichelna with the 0821 service to Summerau. The diesel-only line to Nove Udoli is sampled here as unsilenced Class 749 number 749134 arrives at Domoradice with the 0750 from České Budějovice to Černý Kříž. Another non-electrified line comes in from České Velenice. Here 749247 passes Rodozice with the 0845 from Gmund to Pilsen on 7th June 2005. Our final section takes us back to the main line north to Prague and to the delightful country station at Chotyčany. Class 230 and 240 electrics are common on this line. Their diminutive appearance with curved windows makes them a popular class. It is not unusual for the locos to look uncared for, with their paintwork grubby and faded, but perhaps this could be testimony to their high reliability and always being out on the road. This is 230028 arriving with the 1108 České to Bebesov u Prahy. The train recesses here for 10 minutes. Finally, 363085 passes with a limited stop service from Prague. With EU membership for the country now in place, it can only be a matter of time before new investment means that many of the scenes we have just witnessed will be consigned to history. The 1153 metre long Moresnet viaduct just to the east of Montagnard in Belgium is the second largest in the country. To film a train crossing it from start to finish would generate an edition of European Railway in its own right, so we thought that an edited version of German Class 242 number 242801 crossing the structure on Tuesday 27th April 2004 would be more appropriate. The viaduct has recently seen a refurbishment programme completed, with the main support pillars receiving a fresh concrete cladding and the 750-ton spans replaced with new ones as a result of some serious metal corrosion. The viaduct is one of the photographic highlights on the busy freight-only main line out of the German city of Aachen into Belgium, and is certainly worth a visit if you are in the area. Creeping modernisation of France's locomotive fleet is currently underway. One of the new classes to be seen is the freight-dedicated Class BB 27,000 electrics. In this section we look at some of their current workings in the northeast of the country. The rolling hills to the south of Beaumont near Neufchâteau provide a superb backdrop to this unidentified member of the class with a northbound freight from Dijon on Thursday 21st April 2005. The class are taking over much of the traffic that used to be worked by the BB 16500 and BB 25200 electrics, resulting in steady withdrawals of these 40-year-old locomotives. The locos are now firmly in charge of the iron ore trains which run from Dunkirk to the Thionville area. These were previously booked for pairs of BB 16500s. On Easter Monday, 28 March 2005, Luxembourg Railways withdrew the last of their centre cab Class 3600 electrics after more than 45 years of service. We end this programme with a tribute to the class, as 3603 leaves Berchem Station on 28 April 2004 with a working from Luxembourg to Longwy.